Does watching porn make me a dick? Well, today on Finding Traction, we will explore that crassly framed topic. Welcome aboard.
Guys ready?
When it comes to porn, are you stuck, spinning out, or slipping backwards in your life? If so, then welcome to the Finding Traction podcast, a show dedicated to those who are looking to gain recovery momentum away from porn and toward the life and relationships they have always hoped for. Now, here's your host, Vern Tomke.
Well, as we come to the end of this crazy year of 2020, I wanted to say thank you to all of you who are regular listeners and also those of you who've just started listening to the podcast. We're near the end of 2020, fondly looking forward to 2021. And I want to just say one of the things a new year, the beginning of a new year does is it provides the opportunity for new starts. You know, a lot of people have poo-pooed the idea around New Year's resolutions. You know, most people's New Year's resolutions don't last past the third week of January, those kind of things that you hear, and there's some truth to them. But I had a great talk with my son this morning who loves stats and loves talking about studies. And one of the things they did discover is that starts that happen in January are more likely to be successful than starts that happen at any other time of the year. The reason is because there's a clear starting point that people can very quickly measure. So if you're looking at 2021 and you're going, you know what, I am tired of spinning my wheels around this whole porn issue, or as the introduction says, you feel like you're slipping backwards or falling into some of those same things, and you want to make a fresh start in 2020. Well, I want to just say that I would love you to consider joining one of our Zoom groups that are starting. We're going to be doing them on Monday nights and Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. And it's a chance for you to get together with 4 or 5 other guys. We keep them fairly small. And these are guys like you that are also committed to making a fresh start around porn recovery. If you want more information or you want to talk to me about that, just shoot me an email, bandofbrothers@shaw.ca. And again, we'll be working through our Finding Traction course. It's a 15-minute video that guys do each week. They write down some answers, and we spend time talking about those on a weekly basis. Maybe you just want to get a taste of that. You can go on our website, which is bandofbrothers.care. And on there's an example of one of the lessons, lesson 1, under the Finding Traction tab on the website. So once again, here's your chance for a brand new, fresh start. And 2021, much to all of our happiness, is rapidly approaching. So back to our topic. Does porn make me a dick? Or more specifically, I guess, does watching porn make me more of a dick? You know, I have 3 millennial children, and they've taught me all sorts of new put-down words that express their disdain or lack of admiration for another. You know, using words like dick or douche or a-hole. Really ways that they, at their generation, they express their disdain. I don't know why they usually involve bodily functions or the like. Apparently, idiot or fool, they must have lost their cultural cachet or something to a younger generation. But I'm just going to settle on the word dick to express anyone out there who's named Dick, my apologies. I always think of Dick Winters from my favorite series of shows, Band of Brothers, the HBO special. But other than Dick Winters or anybody else named Dick, I'm just going to use that term to describe somebody that you don't want to be like. You don't want to emulate. If someone says, that guy's a dick, what it means is he's not somebody you want to be with or like or have as a friend. And so here's the question. I don't think anybody would say that watching porn makes me a better person, but does watching it make me a worse person? Does it actually turn me somehow into a person that's different and in a negative way than if I didn't watch it? And I've had a lot of guys that would push back on that topic pretty hard. First of all, at just a philosophical level, I've had some guys express with a straight face or an angry straight face that they're watching porn doesn't affect anybody. It doesn't even affect them. And frankly, they're upset that, in any attempts, to take away porn from their lives or to get them to re-examine their relationship with porn. They're very defensive and very frustrated that people would seem to say that them watching porn somehow turns them into a dick. I can relate to that on one level. I always have seen myself as a pretty good guy. I've had a lot of people call me a pretty good guy. Even in my many years of watching porn, I didn't really see myself as a dick. I'm always been committed to the idea that I am a good dad, a good husband, and I can stay a good guy and still look at porn. So I get it. But here's the issue. Over time, am I becoming a better person watching porn or more of a dick? I'm not sure that any of us ever really stands still. We are moving in one direction or the other. I think over time, a consistent watching of porn would, as my kids would say, turn us into something, which is like best be described as being more of a dick. Now, let me give a few markers to back that up, because some of you I know probably are feeling a little defensive or, well, you better make your point because I'm not sure I like the point. But I want to use markers from 3 different areas of our lives. Myself as a husband, myself as a father, and just myself as a human being, a person. So let's get started. So as a husband, does porn make me a dick to my wife? Well, first of all, I think it's possible to do the husband thing and still look at porn. Lots of people do it. Lots of marriages have porn. That guys or girls look at porn. I even know there's some couples where the wives have made some kind of spoken or unspoken pact with their husbands. You can look, but don't touch. Or men who've said things like, well, you can look at the menu on the restaurant windows as long as you still eat at home. Whether their wives would agree with that, it seems to be kind of an unspoken rule. I lived for years watching porn at various levels of involvement and still maintained my marriage. In fact, I could be especially loving and sweet after I looked at porn. I wasn't happy with myself, and I would come back and to the house and overcompensate, pull out the vacuum cleaner, or empty the dishwasher. That was one of my favorite ways to do self-penance, and partly compensate for looking at porn. Here's the question. Am I becoming a better or a worse husband with a porn life? Now, divorce lawyers would say, for example, and these stats are over 10 years old. There's new stats coming out fairly soon, and I'm really looking forward to hearing those stats. But divorce lawyers would say that porn is involved in over 50% of marriage breakups. I'm sure that number is a lot higher than that now. But as I've said, not everybody, and where there's porn in the marriage, that marriage ends up in divorce court. Let's become a little more down to earth with this. Let's say you approach your wife with the idea for a Christmas present. You say, honey, I'd love to buy you this present, but it comes with a few side effects. Here's the side effects to this present. Number 1, this present, this thing is going to make me more unhappy about our marriage. Number 2, this thing is going to make me more discontented with you. And number 3, this is going to make me an edgier and more unhappy marriage partner. Can I go ahead and get it or do it? I'm sure your partner would say, screw you, absolutely not. Why would I want you to do anything which makes you unhappy about our marriage, unsatisfied with me, and an unhappier marriage partner? Why would I want that in our marriage relationship? And that's exactly what studies repeatedly show that exposure to porn does. It negatively affects a couple's or a guy's satisfaction with their marriage. It affects your sexual satisfaction with your partner specifically. The longer porn is present in your marriage, the unhappier you become. Engaging in porn makes you 3 times more likely to have an affair. Starting porn doubles your chances of your marriage ending in divorce. So, no offense intended, but I would submit to you that continuing to watch porn does make you a dick of a husband. And I resembled that for many years. So that's the first one. The second one, as a father, does porn make me a dick to my kids? You know, what's the greatest gift that you can give to your kids? Well, it's really your presence. I think it's Mark Twain that said 80% of success is just showing up. And how much of us, would say that's a key aspect in terms of being a good dad? Well, the problem with porn is it robs us from with presence. It takes us and would rather have us somewhere else. When we're in a place, maybe with our kids, we're not really there. It robs us the ability to be present with our kids. I mean, that's not at all mentioning the fact that regular exposure and involvement in porn leads to greater measures of anger and irritability. And that, as a father who wants a father who is angry and irritable all the time. Unhappy men make lousy fathers. So yes, I think watching porn does make me more of a dick to my kids. Now, the last one, just as a person, does porn make me a dick to myself? I include this last one because you might be single or divorced, or you might be saying, yeah, but I don't have kids, or I'm not presently in a marriage relationship, or committed dating relationship even, so none of this counts. I will deal and make those changes later so I don't become like this person. Of course, most of us know how self-defeating that is, because getting married has virtually no effect on the embedded habits and behaviors that we've already developed in our life. But let's talk about what kind of person regular involvement with porn and exposure to porn makes us. The first one is this. Do you feel better about yourself after extended bouts with porn? Do you feel more confident, more energy, more drive, more peace? Well, I'm guessing the answer is the exact opposite. No, you don't feel better about yourself. You don't feel more confident. It sucks the life out of you. Do you look around and are you more approving or less approving of other women, your friends? Are you more available as a friend to other people? We're going to probably do an episode coming up. I've been reading quite a bit on brain chemistry, and I usually find that fairly complicated, but I've been reading a couple descriptions that really kind of helped me understand it in a really clear way. And one of the words that is used is anhedonia. I think I've said that right. But it is the inability to feel pleasure or joy in life. Well, one of the real specific results of regular exposure to porn is nothing compares to the high of porn. And we lose our drive for other hobbies, other pursuits, other friendships, and the only thing that matters to us is getting back to where we can experience the highs that we experience with porn. It's one of the reasons why we become edgier, more critical, more resentful people. So does porn make us more of a dick to ourselves? I would say the answer is yes. In addition to making us more of a dick to our wives and our kids. Now, having some fun with some crosswords, I think, is all fair in love and war. But, I just want to say, I really hope for you in 2021 that you do make the changes and the steps. You start the process of change that will bring about the type of life and relationships that you've always dreamed about. So here is to a much better 2021 in every way. So God bless you. We'll see you next time.